to tell a story. Back in Ghana, where I'm from, and in most parts of Africa, we use stories to teach the morals that we want our kids to learn, and to remind the adults of what is important in our communities and what is important as individuals and families. So I'm going to tell a story to my family. It's a story that was told to me by my father, and now I have the honor of passing it on to my family, my kids, and my wife. Once upon a time, there once lived a lion and a buffalo in the savannah. These were unlikely animals to live in the same area. The buffalo set a trap, and the lion found himself in the trap. When the buffalo came upon the lion, he said, "Aha, now the hunter has been trapped." And the lion begged, he said, "Please, have mercy upon me. I'll do anything you want. I'll catch any meat you want for you if you only spare my life." And the buffalo thought about it and he said, "Okay, I'll hold you to your word." So he released the lion, and immediately the buffalo said, "I think today I feel like having deer meat." So the lion went and got a deer, and the buffalo had it with his family. The next day, the buffalo said, "I think I like 2 types of meat." So the lion had to go and search for 2 types of animals. And he went on and on and on. In fact, the lion was given so many assignments, he had no time to get food for himself or his family. So he started growing really thin and weak. And the buffalo did not relent. He was merciless. He saw the lion walking in the savannah, scrawny and weak, and he looked at him and he said, "Today I feel like having a piece of every animal in the savannah. I want you to catch one of each animal in the savannah and bring me their meat." And the lion said, "Aha, you've gone a step too far. For your kind of animal, you'll be the first for me to catch." And the lion jumped on the buffalo's neck, and that was the end of him. Now, family, the moral of this story is that greed leads to distraction. It will never take you further than anywhere. The other moral in this story is that, as we said in the prayers for the God child is not impulsive. When he sees, he hasn't seen. When he hears, he hasn't heard. He must think before he acts. Do not give your word without having thought carefully about what you are saying you will do. So keep those 2 and use them to guide you as you navigate life.
The outgoing ceremony is an important milestone in the life of a Gong person. The ceremony itself is one of the most important traditions that characterize Gong people. You will notice at the beginning of the ceremony that the baby is lifted high up and is then set low to touch the ground. The baby, ultimately, is presented to God. However, it is also presented to the morning star to represent constancy of integrity and identity, and to the earth to remind them that they are a child of God and of the earth, both a physical and spiritual being. The ceremony is used to remind everyone that it takes a whole people to raise a child, and throughout the ceremony, well-wishers get a chance to donate gifts to the child and family. By attending the ceremony, family members get to meet each other, thereby renewing and strengthening family ties. Prayers and blessings are said for the entire family, for the child's parents, and for the child during the ceremony. The ceremony is used to seek God's wrath upon anyone who wishes evil upon the child or his or her family. There are very important reasons why we perform this ceremony. By the ceremony, the newborn child is formally welcomed as an addition to the family. The child is welcomed as a living human being and is named to reflect this status. Among Gong people, when a child passes away before it is outdoored and named, we say that it did not get a name. Hence, the deceased child with no name is not formally counted as an addition to the family. The family name which this child would have assumed is then passed on to a subsequent child of similar gender.
Doing ordinary things, minding our own business, making something of ourselves. Then, one day, it happens. We do something. We make a decision. And although we don't see it at the time, that decision, that act, seals our fate. Sure, in that moment, it doesn't seem like such a big deal, but afterwards, life changes forever. For me, that turning point came on November 8th, 1946, in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. My decision on that fateful day cost me my health, my marriage, and my business. I'll let you judge whether it was worth it.
My name is Viola Desmond. I was born on July 6, 1914 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My mother, Gwendolyn Johnson, was a white woman, the granddaughter of English settlers. My daddy, James Davis. He was a black man, the descendant of loyalists that were sent to Nova Scotia in the 1700s. It was a good home. There were 10 children. I was in the middle. It was a loving family, a noisy family. My mama was always busy. But my mom and my dad, they always found a way to be active in the community. I didn't know it at the time, but it wasn't usual for for a mixed-race couple to be as accepted in that time. Having dark skin wasn't that much of a big deal when I was a kid. Sure, my sister Wanda and I, we would get the looks sometimes when we went to certain parts of town. My mama and daddy, they always told us to make sure we mind our manners when we were around white people. But it wasn't until I got older that I understood that big color wall. See, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a beautician. But my daddy, he had other ideas. I was a clever student, and so he wanted me to be a teacher. And like a good daughter, I went and I qualified to be a teacher. But when I was 19, I still had that nagging feeling inside of me. I wanted to be a beautician. So I decided that I would go and qualify to be a beautician. And that's when I hit the first big wall. Not one beauty school in Nova Scotia would accept a black person. Not to be deterred from my goals, I decided that I would go elsewhere to get my training. First Montreal, then Atlantic City, and then New York, where I got advanced training at C.J. Walker's Beauty School, the best. When I returned to Halifax, I got engaged to my high school boyfriend, Jack Desmond. He had opened a barbershop in Halifax, and after we married, we rented a larger space and had a joint business. My salon was a huge success. My training had given me a lot of confidence in myself. Not only in providing the best services to my clients, but also on the financial end. Although still in my 20s, I saw myself as a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. In those early years, I took advantage of two ideas that led me to even greater success in my business. The first was providing training to black women who, like me, wanted to be a beautician. But not everybody could train outside of Canada. And so I opened my own beauty school, the Desmond School of Beauty Culture. I gave women high-quality training, and this is really important, I taught them how to set up their own businesses. Jack thought I was crazy. He said I was inviting competition, but I disagreed. I wanted other black women to have ways to become independent operators, to be business owners, to be able to employ other women. I graduated 15 women a year from my school. The second idea I had was to make my own special products to treat black hair and skin. The products I used in my store came from New York, and they were expensive, and sometimes the orders did not get filled quickly. I worked hard in the evenings to develop my own special brand. I studied the chemistry, and I experimented. And eventually I came up with an excellent brand of shampoos and creams. I called it Vi's Beauty Products. Now, by the time I was 32, I could say I was a success. I had started out with 2 strikes against me. I was a woman in business, and I was black.